number, no, anything like that. And I don't drive that vehicle.
Have you ever been to auto?
Never. And just, can I add, when I got the complaint, I went up to the business and asked the owner, because I asked him, I said, can you show me the footage of when I came into your place of business? And he said his attorney had all of that information. And if you look at the complaint, there's no exhibits, no sworn statements. It's just the attorney alleging, just hearsay statements in the complaint.
What about this address on Moss Logan?
That is, I own that home, but I haven't lived there since 2002. My ex-wife lives there.
So your son is named Javon?
My son's name is Javon Barber. That's why I had to answer it, because they put in a notice that they served at that address to my son.
You have a driver's license or ID?
Sure. That is not my current address. This is my current address. According to the DMV, I just never went and updated the record. This is my concealed weapons permit with the correct answer.
North Carolina driver's license issued December 6, 2018, spelled AKIEM, last name BARBER. That address was in Myrtle Beach, North Kingston Highway. And then a concealed weapons permit issued August 29th, 2019. Same spelling of the name, Peter C. This is Henry and Freddie, that address in Fort Mill, South Carolina. The motion to dismiss is granted. Improper service. I think just those two. Because I do think the court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of this action.
I understand. Correct. I get that.
That would be proper in the court. I haven't made a determination whether the complaint set forth a cause of action. It probably does, and I could check that it's not necessary if you're not the right person, but right person with jurisdiction and evidently improper service process. Your motion granted.
All right, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Peace. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday show with your host, AKIEM L, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. I apologize to everybody on YouTube. I had the mute button, this new equipment, where you guys couldn't hear the full recording of that court case. So I apologize. But just to check, is the sound good now? You guys good? There in YouTube land. Let's see. Yeah, I know there's a delay on YouTube. It's kind of difficult. I'm getting used to all of this equipment. Now I got this piece of equipment that I can just press stuff with one button. Thanks to Steven Johnson, who told me about this piece of equipment. It is a lifesaver, but I still got to get used to it. They said sounds good. Good. All right. Thanks. That was a court case from about a year and a half ago where they had served me on a complaint suing me for some repairs on a vehicle that I never even took into the shop. But, they had the name spelled wrong and everything. Why did I played that before a long time ago. I played it again to help you guys understand how important the name change is. Because if your name is in all caps, it's not you. Especially if you have a court order saying so. So you get a traffic ticket and things like that, and then your name's all caps, it's not what the court order says your name is, then you have to file a motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction. Now, one of the other things that people forget is they're looking at federal rules of civil procedure instead of looking at the rules of criminal procedure, because those rules are a little different. Yes, you could apply some of the Rule 12B out of civil procedure, but it's not a civil matter. They make it a criminal matter. But, when you really understand all of this stuff, is really everything civil. It's all about money. But, so that's why I played that, because when you go to Rule 12, criminal rules of criminal procedure, they have different things in there that I'm going to go over later. I'm not going to go over it now because I got to go into my whole spiritual mind science thing first. I just wanted to give y'all a preview of what's to come, because I'm going to go over federal rules of criminal procedure, Rule 12. And there's some things in there that could help you in your cases. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is a church. This is my ministry. I, educate you on things you should know so you don't have to go and spend a lot of money trying to protect yourself. So, but if you want an attorney, there's a plenty of them on the internet. Type up lawyers, and they're all over the place. You can use them if you want to. But what I want to talk about, what I was going to share with you. I know a lot of people want to be successful. I know you want good things for yourself, but somehow it's not happening. For some reason, you just can't get over that finish line. It seems like it's things are not working out. And one of the reasons why things are not working out, because you have not become the new man or woman. You still want to keep people in your life that is not beneficial. You still want to have conversations about things that are not beneficial. You still want to do things that has nothing to do with your success. When I say become the new man or woman, you got to throw out all of those old habits you had before in order to be successful. Because if you keep doing the same thing you did before, you're going to keep getting the same thing. That is science. There's no way around it. You cannot keep the same habits, same friends, listening to the same family members, going to the same religious orders in churches, and think your life is going to change. It is not. I watch people try it all the time. Going to the same church for 10, 20, 35, how many years? And they're sitting there wanting to be super successful, have all of this wealth and prosperity, but they go into the same place they were going to when they didn't have wealth. When, they're in the same areas, stuck. You got to get away from all of the crap that got you there. Everything. There is nothing you can keep from that life. There's nothing. You see what I'm saying? Nothing. Yeah, I'll play that recording a little bit later again, towards the end of the show. I'll play it. Someone was asking me. And someone said true repentance. Yes, true repentance is giving up everything from the past. You cannot hold on to things that held you back. And you know, your mind will deceive you. It will trick you into thinking that you could hold on to this little trinket or whatever it is. It's this one friend, it's all these things, and think that you're gonna do better. You might do okay, a little better because you had shed some other things, but it could be that one friend, that one thing, that one bad habit that keeps you from crossing the finish line. Why, you know, you have a business, you're running a business, right? You want it to be yourself. You got to ask yourself every day, why isn't it making money? Why? Because you're not thinking of money. Your mind is not focused on the money. I get criticized about, oh, you talk about money all the time. Yes, I do. And I'm not ashamed of it because everything I do takes money. When I start my car up, when I turn the lights on in my house, you know, I drink water, I use the bathroom, take showers, you know, wash clothes. Just the simple things take money. So why aren't you talking about money in a positive way? Not talking about money like you don't have it. You talk about money in a positive way, like as if you already have it. I do this ritual often, and some days when I don't do it, guess what? Money doesn't come, it'll flow. So I always got to keep constantly reminding myself to do it over and over again, all the time. You see what I'm saying? You have to remind yourself to keep focused on your goals, the things you want to do. You know, it's okay to do things that, you know, you find entertainment in from time to time. But if you have goals you're trying to reach and you're not getting there, and you don't have time, you know, to really get to where you want to do, you have to sacrifice things. I was talking to my son earlier today. I said, hey, you know, you're writing a book, you need to finish it. And he was like, yeah, I know. I said, one of your issues is you're hanging out and doing things with people that don't have the same interests as you. You see? They don't have the same interests as you. So if you're hanging out with people, whether you know, these are your family, you love them, I understand that, but they don't have the same interest as you. So what does that mean? That they're gonna pull away from your interests and you're gonna lean towards their interests, which is just having fun all the time. There was a scripture that I had looked up, and it was funny because that same scripture, let me share my screen. All right, this one here. All right. All right. It's Mark chapter 8, verses 34. It says, then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. What does that mean? Okay. I looked it up in two different books that I have. One is the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. For all of you who that's it right there. Who's on YouTube, you can see it. And then the other definition was in my Black's Law Dictionary. That's interesting. Cross is in the Black's Law Dictionary. Right? And it says there in the cross, under that, it says the crystallization of two currents of thought. The state of consciousness termed sense mind. The perpendicular bar symbolizes the inner current of the divine life. The horizontal bar symbolizes the cross current of human limitation. So the cross represents conflicting ideals, conflicting states of consciousness. It's a symbol for your mind and how it operates, how your higher consciousness wants to take you to the highest levels possible, or the infinite of impossible. Whereas the lower mind The lower states of consciousness is your limitations. And what is the limitation? Just the ideas in your mind, what you think you can and have at any point in time. Any state of consciousness that you say you have limits. I can't do this. This is not working. I am not successful. Saying things like that. That's the cross. And you have to get rid of that. You have to pick that cross up and do away with those types of conflicting thoughts. Right? Then it considers the latter symbolizes the mind of the flesh. Also, it burdens the body with its various erroneous beliefs. See? The center of action of this sense mind in the brain, and there it has to be met in the final overcoming that I am undertakes the place called the place of a skull. So that's that sense. So let's go to the Black's Law Dictionary. Hang on. Black's Law Dictionary. I think this is the third edition. It's a very old edition. Those of you on YouTube, y'all can see it. You can see how aged it is. This was not cheap to get. You could find a few of them out there. And the cross represents in Black's Law Dictionary a mark made by a person who are unable to write to stand instead of a signature. I knew about that. Then it also says a mark usually in the form of an X, by which voters are commonly required to express their selection. There are four principal forms of the cross. The St. Andrew's cross, which is made in the form of an X. So when you make an X, that's a cross, the St. Andrew's cross. The Latin cross, as used in the crucifixion. St. Anthony's cross, which is made in the form of a T. And the Greek cross, which is made by the intersection at right angles of lines at the center point. As an adjective, this is the important part. The word is applied to various demands and proceedings which are connected in subject matter, but opposite or contradictory in purpose or object. So in the legal dictionary, the word cross represents conflicting ideas. So let's get an example. Like, for instance, they got your name in all caps, but your actual name is properly styled upper and lower. That's a cross. You are two conflicting entities there, and you have to undo that. You have to pick that cross up and undo that in the courtroom. See, these terms in the Bible relate directly to the courtroom. Because you remember in all of the older books like Judges, the kings handled court right there in the temples and in their wherever the castles or whatever they called them back then. You see? But back to the mind. The reason why most of us are not achieving what we want is because we have conflicting ideals. We are crossed in our thoughts. Yes, we speak positive, we say all these things, but then somewhere in the back of the mind, you're doubting yourself. So what do you have to do that? To get rid of that, you have to reprogram your mind and constantly say positive things. Don't get caught up in the negative. I'm challenged with this daily. I don't escape this. But I know it. So I know how to if I get in there, I can get myself out. But most people don't know how to get in and out. They don't know how to not get caught up or to change their mind. Don't allow outside circumstances to interfere with what they're doing. You see? So remember, you always got to speak I am statements that are positive. I am the main one, God. That sometimes that people hesitate to say that. They cringe. Oh, that's blasphemy. Well, I always say what's blasphemy is to think less of yourself. That's blasphemy. That is against your natural nature to think low of yourself. That's blasphemy. That is bringing reproach upon God, the God in you, the God that's working through you. You see? So remember, the mind is important. You must exercise it just like any other muscle, and you must exercise it with right knowledge and positive information. I constantly deal with individuals who get consultations with me after they done spent a whole lot of time listening to garbage and then want me to verify the garbage. I can't verify garbage because it's garbage. I don't deal with garbage. I deal with only things that give you remedy. That recording I played was my voice, me in court live. Getting a win so I can show y'all how to do the same thing. It's not to brag. You see? But there you have it. You are nothing but a divine manifestation of the God, the super God, the high God, the super consciousness. Therefore, you are God in the image and likeness of God, of the super consciousness. And remember, God is thought, it's mind. That's what creates all things. Things are created from the things unseen, which is the thoughts in your mind. Everything you see in the physical was an idea at one time, an unseen idea. Then it was spoken, and then it was acted upon. And there it is. All right. Let's get into this Rule 12 pleadings pretrial lesson here. Let's get into that. I feel like I'm forgetting. I'm about to have another webinar, and that webinar is going to be it's the passport webinar part 2, but a little with the A to Z process of correcting your status. Because the first one I just deal just with the passport. This one I'm going to deal with things you need to have in place or put into place before and after you do the passport. So I'll let y'all know the date on that. All right. Rule 12 pleadings and pretrial motions. Y'all should be able to see that on YouTube. And it says, A, pleadings. The pleadings in a criminal proceeding are the indictment. The pleadings in a criminal proceeding are the indictment, the information, and the pleas of not guilty, guilty, or no low contender. B, pretrial motions. In general, a party may raise by pretrial motion any defense, objection, or request that the court can determine without a trial on the merits. Rule 47 applies to a pretrial motion. So, what's a pretrial motion? Like, you get a ticket, you get any other charge, you want to start making some motions immediately. And one of the first ones I recommend, remember, I'm not a lawyer, is a motion to dismiss. Because when you look at these, say, for instance, a traffic ticket, it's got your name in all caps. Is that you? No. So you need to be making a motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction immediately. You need to be going in there, hey, this is not me, and put it on paper. See, when you go through the YouTube videos and all of that, it's people running in the courtroom, no paperwork, talking about that's not me, I'm not the straw man, using terms like that. Those terms will get you slammed in the courtroom because all of a sudden they're going to look at you as a sovereign citizen and they're going to shut down. They're not going to listen to you. You need to be making coherent, legible, and comprehensible pleadings. Yeah, let me drink some water. Hey, this is my Shilajit water. My Shilajit. I'm kind of copying off of Dr. Daniels. See? Shilajit. Yeah, I got to get my minerals in me. All my trace minerals. Let me drink this real quick. This was what keeps me healthy. So you should be putting in these motions immediately, because soon as you start saying stuff like outside of that, then it commences. You're in the jurisdiction. So a motion to dismiss is showing, hey, you don't have jurisdiction because here's some things we need to fix. First of all, that name in all caps is not me. This is who I am, and here's the court order that supports that. And I know some may not have a court order, but you still should be doing that. You should be having that on paper and in the court. And write a cover letter to the clerk of court. Say, hey, listen, there's some defects in this complaint, this traffic ticket we need to fix. You like a cover letter to go with your motion and hey, this is who I am. Show the proof of who you are. This needs to be fixed. And they might say something like, well, you need to put a motion to correct the case caption. Yeah, maybe they'll say something like that. Who knows? But you're giving everybody notice that that is not you before you even get there. Don't wait until you go to court to start this. See, because here's the thing. When you get there, they're so used to running that gravy train, and you get there, you try to run that game, it's going to be hard. But if you already have your paperwork in, saying what's, this is it, we need to correct that. And I never go into, hey, we correct it or dismiss it. Now, the other thing is lack of specificity. Lack of specificity. Do you know that's in Black's Law Dictionary as well? Law is precise. So it has to be specific. Okay, if you're saying, who is this on this paper? Let's identify who is it. Is it you're trying to say that's me? No, it's not. You're not being specific. Why is it in all caps? Why do y'all take my name and demonize it like that by putting it in all caps when clearly my birth certificate has it this way, and plus I have a court order that says it needs to be this way? Why is it on cap? Can y'all specify the reasons? I would put that down. Suppression of evidence. That's a great one. Why? Because, give you a perfect example. When you're getting pulled over for speeding or whatever traveling violation they say you are, the cop is coming up to you. He's asking you questions like, oh, let me see your driver's license and registration. So he's making statements like that, right? What is he going to do with that information? He's conducting an investigation. And at that point, you have a right to remain silent, or you have a right not to incriminate yourself. For sure. You see what I'm saying? So let's see. I was going to pull up the Constitution, but I'm not. But the Constitution says you have a right not to incriminate yourself. You have a right not to do anything that to help them convict you of anything. That's their job, to seek their evidence out and make their case. It's not your job to give it to them. That's why they come and talking to you. Hey, asking questions. What are you doing? Where are you going? I don't answer questions like that. And when they ask for things like that from me, I'll say, okay, if I give you this, will it be used against me? Are you conducting an investigation at this time? And he'll say yes or no. Whatever he says, I was like, oh, well, at this time, I'm going to have to invoke the Fifth Amendment. I'm not going to do or say anything that will incriminate me at this time. You see? You have a right to do that. Now, don't be rude and nasty with them. These guys, they are, public servants, and they feel they're doing their job and they're doing their duty, and they are. We don't act belligerent with them. Just be polite. Don't cause a problem. Argue with them. Don't try to teach them law on the side of the road. Just, and then after you say that, you keep your mouth shut. That's it. Me personally, I just hand over my passport card. Here it is. I'm not going to give them the contract that they're looking for, because the contract has specific rules in it. And that contract says, if I have it and I hand it over as evidence, they're going to use that. Remember, anything you can say can and will be used against you. Anything you do. There's another one. And suppression of evidence. And you also should be trying to suppress evidence. You know, they pull out these, whatever the radar, whatever they're going to check you out with, all of these questions they're asking, they're going to try to, you want to suppress that. Why? Because they don't have a warrant. And see, I make that clear. Do you have a warrant at this point in time? I just want to be clear. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I just want to know if you have a warrant. No, I don't have one. And they might say, I don't need one. Then you shut up. Okay, you don't. Okay, I just want to make sure you have a warrant because, because at that point, once he says he doesn't have a warrant, I know I don't have to say anything, give him anything, because there's no court order to say I must surrender anything to him. See, they have made people believe these traffic ticket situations are so, people just used to just handing over their rights. I was speeding, pay the ticket, keep it going. But you have specific rights. They need a warrant to start asking and doing investigations. You have a right to privacy. And if you're in your vehicle, that's an extension of your home. You're in your private transportation, traveling. They don't have what permission did they get from any court to even surveil you? Like to even shoot a gun at your car? Did they get a permission from a court? Where's your right to privacy? I know this is common and this is what they usually do, but I'm giving you guys something to think about. That's all. These are all arguments you can raise. Like, wait a minute. Did you have a court order that specifically described my vehicle and me before you started surveilling me? Where's privacy at? You don't have any. If you allow them to take your rights away from you, your right is the rights to privacy. Your right to travel freely, unencumbered. And you're not endangering anyone. No one has called them to make a complaint against you. To say, well, this guy's driving erratically. I feel unsafe. No, they just take it upon themselves to say, you're committing all of these egregious acts and we got to fine you. No one is there to make a complaint against you other than the officer. So he becomes a judge, jury, and convicts you right on the side of the road. And then he requires you to come to court. Well, according to the rules of court, rules of how courts run, the only person that can summon you to court is the clerk of court by order, demanding your presence by specifically naming you. And on a side note, not really a side note, your name in all caps is not you. So who are you summoning to court? A piece of paper, an entity that you kind of put down as civilly dead? Because that's what that denotes, is that entity is civilly dead. And you don't want to, God is a God of the living, not a God of the dead. Let's see. Give me a second. I need to move this screen out of here. All right. Stop the shit there. Go back to a new shit. Go back to. All right. There we go. Yeah. These are all things you guys got to start opening your mind up to in order to get your freedoms right. Because if you don't do that, they're gonna cream you. All right, let's see. Anybody got the hand up? And let me see if I got any questions in the chat. Let's see. I don't have a record all and no tickets, but I've mailed my paperwork to 7+. I don't know what to do next. What are you talking about specifically? You don't know what to do next. I don't have a record at all. And Zachary Bay, I don't get what you, and no tickets, but I've mailed my paperwork. What paperwork you're talking about? Yeah, the money was the topic earlier. What? I know there's a delay in there. There's a guy asking something on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about. Let's see. Any other questions there? All right. anybody on Blog Talk, if you want to actually talk to me directly, verbally, you could call into 563-999-3615 and press the one button. I'll get your question. Anybody in the actual Blog Talk Radio, if you got a question, put your hands up. Man, the membership is going good, man. People are joining and getting that knowledge about the 1041s and setting up their trust properly, really taking ownership of putting their affairs in order. You know, you got to commend all of these folks for doing that. And the investment, because that's what I call it, that you're making is a lifetime investment. It's just something that's going to free you. Once you understand how trust work and how to properly do the tax returns on those trusts and what you can claim on those trusts through your bank accounts and things like that without worrying about the IRS looking over your shoulder. That's a level of freedom that has not been out there in this community. You guys have been running in and following this other stuff, just kind of doing stuff, and then next you know, you got knocks on your door, you're getting crazy letters, frivolous filing letters, and things like that. I know I got them when I followed certain individuals. I know I got them trying to. You know what? I forgot to mention on this federal criminal trying to get that question answered. Okay. Oh, he still didn't come back to me. No, it's the number is 563-999. Let me type it in there. 3615. It's 563-999-36115. That's the number. The calling number for Blog Talk. Okay, he said, I sent registered mail about legal notice, proclamation, declaration to who I am to places. I said, okay, you know what, Zachary, call in on the above number because I need to ask you some more questions to be clear. You said you sent some stuff out. I need to know what you said notice and proclamations, declarations. Yeah, I've heard of that routine. It doesn't really get you anywhere. But before I really answer that, I need to know some more details, Mr. Bay. All right, so call that number, press the one button, and I will get you. You'll be live on the air. Just know that. Let's see. Let me just tell him. Your question answered. I think I'm gonna need some assistance to do all this typing for me. That's the Blog Talk Radio number to get me. Those of you who don't know, I do a show every Tuesday where I answer questions for free. I get tons of emails with questions, and I don't really open them and read them because I can't handle all those questions. And I'll answer one question and come back about 20 more. So there's several ways you can contact me. AKIEM.com, get a consultation. That's a private consultation on Zoom, face to face, $75 for 30 minutes. I think that's a great deal. Or you can get on the show every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and for free. I'll ask you a question. Now, if it's too private, I won't answer the question. But most questions can be answered over the air if they're of a general nature. Like this one that Zachary Bay is talking about, I can definitely handle that. But I need to ask him some more questions. Now, back to the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. Here's another one that you have to consider. Improper jointer. What's improper jointer? Because they're saying you're this name and you're not. So they're not joining the proper party, which is you, the live living man. I don't like using that in my paperwork. So don't even, I'm just using it as an example. I don't write that stuff in my paperwork. But you, in your proper form and name, that's not being addressed. So you would not see. That's why I played that case, because they had my name spelled wrong and everything. She was like, lack of personal jurisdiction and improper service of process. Why? Because you served a name that's not my name. It's the same thing. You see? Let's see. All right. Oh, well, we got a hands up. Okay, let's go to the line here. 510-358. Peace.
AKIEM, peace to the God to you.
Peace to the God. What's going on?
Man, I'm good, man. It's good to hear your voice, man. I've been listening to you for years, God.
Thank you.
When you first came on the radio, and you helped me out a great deal. A lot of things, man, you're the man. But yeah, listen, I'll get to the point. You helped me get my passport about 7 months ago or so.
Okay.
And it's all beautiful. Everything's great. However, I went through some tough times financially, so I had to take a job at the post office, right?
Okay.
I worked there about 3 months and realized that I was destroying everything that I built up through all the years with the 9, 8, the whole 9.
Right.
So I quit. Now,
Okay.
do I have to do any kind of processes to, if I ruin any standing with my passport? I don't think I did, but
okay. Let's do this. Did you fill out a W-9?
Guy with the post office, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I did.
In a way, you kind of, okay, what people don't understand, and I'd never heard anybody teach this before until I went through the instructions of the W-9. The W-9 certifies you as a U.S. person. It does. You see what I'm saying? It actually says it.
Yes, I do.
It says it there. So what you were supposed to give them was a W-8 bin or a W-8. Well, a W-8 bin. Instead, see what the teachers was: take the W-8 bin, mail it to the IRS. But the IRS says don't mail this form to us. You need to give it to the withholding agent. You got to give it to the person who's going to be looking at your paycheck and wanting to take money out. I mean, right here in the instructions, which I'm showing, I think I'm showing that live. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm showing it live on YouTube. It says here,
okay,
in that instructions, how do I know when to use a W-9 form? It says use form W-9 to request a taxpayer identification number. Right there, that's a red flag. That's taxpayer identification number. They like to call you either a U.S. person or a taxpayer. It's the same thing, right? Of a U.S. person, including a resident alien, and to request certain certification and claims for exemption. Withholding agents may require signed form W-9 from U.S. exempt recipients. See, you could be a U.S. exempt recipient, but that's still a U.S. person, right? To overcome presumptions of foreign status. See, the W-9 is to, it just said it right there. It said, withholding agents may require signed form W-9 from U.S. exempt recipients to overcome a presumption of foreign status. So without the W-9, you are assumed foreign. You see? So they hand you that to get you into their jurisdiction. You see what I'm saying? And for federal tax purposes, a U.S. person includes but not limited to an individual who is a U.S. citizen or U.S. resident alien, a partnership, corporation, company, or association created or organized in the United States or under the laws of the United States. And if you go to the actual W-9 form, when you sign under penalty of perjury, it says it right there in that sentence. Right there under the penalties, it says signature of U.S. person. So if you sign that form, you're a U.S. person.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? Now, companies can be a U.S. person or whatever because they were formed here or whatever. But if you do your W-8 bin, so really, like, I actually made this mistake where I was supposed to send a W-8 to someone requesting my EIN instead of a W-9 for my company. So you're supposed to give this to your banks, your jobs, and things like that. Yeah, it's okay if you work for the post office, although that is a federal position and you're a federal employee. But they still fall under the same guidelines. It doesn't make you a U.S. citizen because you're working for the federal government. And I don't know. I'm not sure with the post office. Do y'all take oaths or anything like that?
Yeah, they make you do oaths.
Yeah, I thought so because my dad and my sister works for them. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I had left there, and I switched jobs, and I worked for a buddy of mine, and so I did the 8233, and we just handled it that way, and it's all good. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
right. I put my status. I used my passport card.
Right. Well, see, the job. See, when you give them a passport, that's like giving them foreign status. But just don't fill out the W-9. This is for anybody. Listen, give them a W-8 bin instead of a W-9. I got a video on it. I go over all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to check that out.
Yeah. Well, just go and read the instructions. It's right there in the most of this stuff that I'm reading, I'm telling you, is right there in the instructions that you're certifying right here on this form. If if you can see it on YouTube, you'll be able to see it later. It says your certification under penalties of perjury, I certify that. And number 3, it says I am a U.S. citizen or other U.S. person defined below. It's saying it.
Oh, okay.
So but now that you don't work for them, that's irrelevant. Just keep, just don't fall into that trap again. But as long as you're receiving monies from them, that it's relevant, but you're not anymore. So
no, not anymore. Got to get out of there.
Right.
I was waking up having nightmares going, damn. I just start thinking about all the work I put in, getting my status together and claiming everything. I was just like, nah, man, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, if keeping a job wasn't the problem, it's just you didn't know how to keep it and not be looked at as a U.S. citizen.
Period. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, brother. Any other questions?
Yeah. Well, I won't hold you. Have a good one, Akeem, and take care of yourself, man.
All right, peace.
Peace and blessings.
All right. Good question. All right, let's go to the next one. 469-318. 469-318. You're live.
Hello.
Yes, hello. What's up?
I'm sorry. I was muted. Peace, Akeem.
Peace. What's going on?
Not much. This is Zachary Bay. You had some.
Oh yeah. I need to clear up this question you had in the chat on YouTube. Okay, you said I sent. What documents did you send?
I saw to these 7+ locations. I have the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World legal notice.
Okay. Now that's why I needed to clear up. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Did you do anything like correcting your passport as a national or anything like that?
No, not before that. I've never even had a passport.
Now you could use all of that paperwork that you did with the Moorish, that's fine. But you need to go get your passport, that traveling document, and apply for it as a national. And that information is taught on my website, AKIEM.com. It's the passport webinar. You can get that. and that'll show you exactly what to do. And you could use those documents that you mail to all of those people as explanatory statements. The problem that people have with nationality is they don't know correctly how to do it. You know, people are telling them, oh, mail all of these people. Yeah. You know what those people are doing with your mail when you get it?
Throwing it.
Pretty much. They're just throwing it to the side, man. You just mailing stuff to them. It doesn't give them a directive. It's just information, and they get mail all the time. So, but when you go and apply as a national, pay that fee, and you take the oath that everything you say in that application is true and correct, you get your passport back. Now you got a credential. Now that's on the record. Then you go order a authenticated copy of that record showing that you gave them all your Morris information and put it on the record. Boom. And if you read the oath, it tells you what to do. The oath of that passport application actually tells you what to do to claim your nationality. It's written in such a way that it's tricky. Have you seen my passport video that I did on YouTube? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't gone back and watched that one.
Well, I'm gonna do you a favor, and I'm gonna read the oath of that passport application for you and show you what it tells you exactly what to do. The problem we have is we listen to so much information, we don't know what to believe and what not to believe. Of course, it's taking us time opening it up. And you got people who want to argue and tell you, no, it's this way, it's that way. You know,
it's Aquarian.
Yeah,
it's revealed.
Now I got it up on YouTube now, but I'm going to read this to you. I'm going straight to the application and read this oath here. Right here. All right. It tells you, I mean, it's very simple. We just make it complicated because we believe in people instead of reading these rules. All truths are in the rules. You just got to know how to interpret them. It says here, this is the oath that before you get, they complete your application, they have you raise a hand or you swear and affirm whatever you do, and you sign off on it, right? Under penalties of perjury. It says, I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. 1, I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States and have not, since acquiring U.S. citizenship or nationality, performed any of the acts listed under acts or conditions on page 4 of the instructions of this application. Then they put it in a low bracket, unless explanatory statements is attached. So let me interpret that for you real quick. It's saying you are a U.S. citizen or national of the United States unless you did something in the acts and conditions and you explain yourself in explanatory statements. So it's saying if you don't want to be a U.S. citizen looked at as one, you need to do what acts and conditions says. Go read that. And supply an explanatory statement. So what you did was you got explanatory statements. You given notice, but you didn't give it with this application. That's how you give notice. Oh. You see what I'm saying? That's how you're going to get an official document back with saying you proven that you're not who they're trying to assume you are. Now, when you get this document back, it's not going to look any different than anybody else's passport. It's just that now you have on the record certified, authenticated that you are who you say you are. Nobody can rebut who you say you are. You just got to give them notice properly. Just mailing stuff to a bunch of places is to me just creating paperwork that they're never going to read. And, people, it may have been a good idea years ago, but to me, without feedback, and the feedback that you're going to get with this is you're going to get a passport after you do this. Because if it's wrong, they're not going to give you a passport. But it's right. They give you the passport.
Right.
Thousands of people have done this process that I've taught them how to do, and they got their passport. So If it was wrong, they wouldn't do it. If you're stating I'm not a U.S. citizen, and I specifically stated in there, and this is who I am, and they give it to you. Now, the other trap people fall for with this is state citizen. I don't agree with that. Because too many states have sold out to the federal government and said every citizen of this state owes allegiance to the United States. No, we're not going to be a state citizen. Not me, at least. Now, let's go to acts and conditions really quick. Acts and conditions.
What is it?
Acts and conditions. That's on page 4 of the application.
Action conditions.
Acts, ACTS, or conditions. Acts or conditions. Okay. And in the very first statement, it tells you, if any of the below mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, the portion which applies should be lined out. And the key word is portion. And a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. It tells you what to do. And then you start reading it, you pick out what applies to you, line it out. The part that applies, see, they trick you with the line out, because line out in simple terms or usual terms means it doesn't apply. But in this application, it says line out what applies. So just be careful. It's just they know how to trick you. You see?
Yeah, it's a whole language.
Yeah,
man.
It's their language. It's legalese.
Yeah, I came into this maybe like 3 years ago. I'm 26 now, and man, this is unbelievable what you don't know.
Right.
What you can get caught up in.
Right.
Oof.
I mean, I gave so many jewels tonight. I made it very simple for people to figure this thing out. I like people to figure stuff on out. Now, if you can't figure it out, you need help, you want to use my explanatory statements and get some guidance, AKIEM.com helps you do all of that.
Yeah, those nice little templates. Y'all check them templates out, man.
Yeah. But there you have it. So take the same stuff you mailed to all of these places, use them as an explanatory statement with your application, line out with it with acts and conditions, say, study that, read that several times before you make a decision. And I will give you a key word. You are a foreign state. Remember, I just read the W-9 where it says the assumption of foreign status. So the government automatically knows that you're foreign. So they get you to fill out this W-9 to take you out of that status. They assume you're foreign. I'm going to read it again. It says, an individual entity who is required to file information return, which may be a social security or individual taxpayer identification number. Wait a minute. Where was I reading that? No, that was in the other one. This is the actual application. Boom, right here. It says withholding agents may require signed forms W-9 from U.S. exempt recipients to overcome a presumption of foreign status. So what they're just saying, we need them to fill out this W-9 to steal their foreign status from them.
Yeah. Wow.
That's actually what it's saying. That's what it said. To overcome. What does overcome mean? What does that mean?
Leave it behind.
No, let's look up the definition of overcome. Hang on a second. Overcome. I'm a Google. Let's do the Google definitions of overcome.
I'll use my black law.
So that means to overcome, succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty, defeat, prevail. That means that to defeat your foreign status. Overpower.
Wow.
Right.
Defeat. No, I'm stopping that.
See, they use specific words. They know what these words mean. We look at them differently. They know exactly. We need them to fill out the W-9 to defeat their foreign status. This is the synonym for overcome is defeat, beat, best, conquer, trounce, trash, thrash, rout, vanquish. Come on. You think they don't know what they're doing when they're using words like that?
They definitely know.
See, that's why it's important to read. You see, I stopped listening to people a long time ago and read these instructions. Along with my connecting to the spirituality, spirit realm, and getting this information. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I read this whole thing, but that little part right there was the first time I read that was tonight when they said overcome. So that's the ancestors wanting y'all to know the truth when you filling these forms out. They are conquering your foreign status. They're taking it away from you. Or let's just put it like this. They're deceptively giving you forms that they say you need to get a job to take your foreign status away from you.
Because they make sure you assume that you need a job instead of working.
Right. They know everybody. Well, okay, if you go to public education, what are they telling you? What are they saying? They're saying go get a good education and you get a good job.
Yeah.
So your mind is programmed to look for a job. And everybody around you, you ain't got a job yet. You're going to get a job as soon as you finish school. You ain't going to lay around here. No one ever tells you or beat up on you to get a business for yourself. Start your own business. Let's work together. Let's start selling some things.
That's so true.
It's so many things right now with the whole COVID thing. This is the time to create wealth because people are buying everything online now for the most part. So it's time to start them online businesses and start selling stuff. There's so many things out there you can sell. Amazon sells probably 3 to 20 of the same product from different vendors, all on the same platform. And they all making money. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And I'm trying to decide if it's even legal for me to just buy something and resell it myself. Like, hold on.
No, it's legal
to do that.
It's legal, bro. It's legal.
Wow.
Do it, man. Everybody's selling the same thing.
That's true.
Everybody's selling the same thing. And they're all making money because where I shop is I try to find the one that's going to get it to me the fastest.
Yeah, that's true.
You see?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. All right. Any other question? I hope I cleared that up for you.
That was amazing. Thank you. That was everything.
All right, man. Peace. Thank you. Let me move on to the next caller. Good question. I'm glad he got on. Before I get to the next caller, 786-597, I'll get you in a second. It says, I would like to start a small business and wanted to know if using a trust is the best way and can a trust build credit? Yes, it can. Yes. Best way is through a trust. Can you give me a little game? Start up. Remember, a trust is a person just like they consider you a person in commerce. It can build credit, so I would get a trust like, your name is Natural Bay Trust, right? Get an EIN for that and go to the, I think it's listmyself.com, listme.com, optin.com, something like that. You go to, what's that? One of those credit bureaus, and you opt in and you put the information for the trust with the EIN number. You're going to start getting solicitations for credit and stuff like that. That's going to open up the profile. And of course, like anything else, you got to build it. Now, if you want to understand how to build credit, CPN credit, because the EIN is a CPN, it's a credit profile number. Go to AKIEM.com. The CPN information is there. It's pretty much up to date. I got about 3 or 4 of those videos. Watch them all. All right. Let's go to the next caller. 786-597. Peace.
Hey, peace to the guys.
Hey, what's going on? Peace, man. How you doing? Hey, it's been a while.
I'm just doing. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm still hanging in there. I have a 2-part question, but we'll just go over the first one first.
Mm-hmm.
This one is in regards to the for the employer that I work with now. when they did the tax papers, they do it like an online application. It's not like physical paper, and there wasn't an option for W-8 or foreign study. They just had straight W-4. So
right now,
for me,
no, because even with a W-4, they still ask for a W-9 certifies the taxpayer identification number. It's a certificate, just like a W-8 is. W-8 bin. So they go together.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I made a mistake. They didn't give an option for a W-8 bin. They just have the W-4.
Right. So what
You
you went physically in the job or just online?
I went physically on the job.
No, you give it to them. It's not an option. You give it to them. You say, hey, I need this attached to that. You give it to them. In the video that I did a couple of weeks ago, it talks about the W-4 and the W-8. You got to give it to them. You got to, if you're going to fill out the W-4 form out, which you really don't have to, you know that. You know the laws on that, right? But
yeah.
You give them that with the W-8. You know, I think you would put exempt on there and then you give them that. You have to explain that to them. You have to talk to them about that.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
The second one, I'm still having an issue. Well, actually, I don't have an issue. I'm just having like cold feet to go back in and see if I can do my passport. But I just want the passport card. I don't want the passport book because I don't have no intention of traveling way,
They
right now.
I don't know. They still might restrict it. I don't know.
Okay.
You really gotta attack them through the Constitution, how they're restricting your right to travel. And you gotta go take the law, the very law that's stopping you, and use it against them.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
All right, bro.
I pretty much know what to do right now. Thank you.
All right, peace. All right, so let's go to the chat. There's a lot of good questions in there. Someone says 2 years ago got a rejection, said back child support, which is not on credit report. Okay, remember with child support, they're certifying you through the Department of Health and Human Services, right? You got to attack that because when you really read the laws, that's for U.S. citizens. You're not. So you got to, I showed them that you're not a U.S. citizen to overcome that. Okay, you got to study and put some paperwork together to go after that. Now, I can do that. And I had one time I was successful with it. The problem with fighting it that way, it takes time and 90 days runs out quickly. And they know that. But you have to keep pounding at them. And then that certification will be removed. I had one guy, they had him on that list. And then when he kept pushing the issue, it was like, well, you're not supposed to be on it. They just said arbitrarily, and then they took him off, and then he was able to apply. So you got to keep going after that because that's a fish on the hook type thing. Once they got their little fish, they're not letting it go easy. So that's going to take work. That's why I always like people to clear those problems up before they apply, simply because the application lasts only 90 days, and it takes a lot longer to undo those types of issues. Okay. Someone said, so why you need to correct your past taxes as a U.S. citizen in order to process your application? No, you don't necessarily have to correct your taxes as a U.S. citizen because you're not a U.S. citizen. You never was. But what you have to do is get them to get you off that list that you have issues by attacking what a U.S. citizen is. Use those rules against them. Use the Constitution, Articles of Confederation, your right to travel, things like that. When you dig deep into these laws, you realize that child support laws are nothing but slavery laws. And a lot of these orders that they got are not even proper. They're administrative orders. There's a lot of guys on child support that have never been to a court. Now, if you notice and you listen, I'm going to play the recording again. So y'all so you know what? before I get to the next question, I'm going to play, because a lot of people on YouTube did not hear that recording. So I'm going to stop it where I want you to pay attention to. So here it is.
Company versus AKIEM Barbara.
AKIEM Barbara, the name is spelled wrong on there. The alleged defendant. I suppose that name is spelled wrong. Is it right? I'm AKIEM Barbara, yes.
And you're here for Philip Miller Company.
I noticed them. I did a motion to dismiss. It's AKIEM BARBER. Yes.
I'm going to do anything, I'm checking just to make sure we don't have to turn it.
Okay, well, let me hear your motion.
I'm here on an unopposed motion. I noticed them. I filed a motion on November the 19th, mailed it to the plaintiff's attorney of record. I think it's Walter B. Card. The motion is the court lacks jurisdiction over the subject matter, over the persons. Services process is wrong and insufficient service process, and failed to state sufficient facts to state a claim. The plaintiff entered a complaint against AKIEM Barbara, which is not my name, never lived at that address ever. My son took notice. He gave me a call and told me about this, so I had to answer this. I've never been to this place of business to do any type of car repair work, and at the time this repair work was going on, I was in Charlotte handling a business matter in the bank. So I've never been to this place of business. So I think it happened on person.
All right. So what I wanted you to hear that, right? The other side never showed up to defend their cause against me, right? They made the claim. I put a motion to dismiss, and they never came in. But guess what? I still had to go into court and explain why I should win. Why am I mentioning that? Because what they're doing in child support, which is wrong, is entering default judgments against people that never showed up to court and they never made a proper claim. They're not even showing that they properly served these people. They're mailing regular mails to people. No certification from the sheriff or anybody saying that this person actually got this complaint. A large majority of guys are getting hit with this. And then they enter default judgment. No, I had to show proof that I served them with my answer. Now, because they were the one putting in the complaint, they show proof that they served my son. You know, and they put it on the record and had someone testify that, hey, I gave it to this guy who was his son, and they gave a description and everything. In your child support cases, do you have anything on the record like that? They have to follow those. That's called due process. I can't just mail you a regular letter in the mail and expect that you got it. And then hold you responsible for an order that you never knew you got. And then even after all of that, I still had to make my case. I still had to explain why I should prevail on a motion to dismiss. They didn't just give it to me. But yet, when it comes to them, they just hand these things out like free lunch. See, this is how you guys are not getting your due process. All right, that's why I wanted to show you that. I wanted to let you listen to what I went through, showing you proper procedure. I still had to talk. There was no one there to argue with me, but I had to put on the record my case, even though I put in a written motion. All right, so the next question, let's move on. Can you comment on the number of stars? Stars mean nothing. I've done this process for hundreds of people, and I've seen 5 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. That's what I've seen. I've seen people with super criminal records get 5 stars. I've seen people with no criminal records get 3 stars. I've seen children get 5 stars while the parents get 3 stars. Doing the same exact process. So, they mean nothing. As far as I can tell, they mean nothing. Okay? People try to say, well, they mean this. Okay, but then when I ask them for the proof of what they're saying, they point to somebody's website that is giving off their opinion. They don't point to a government document that says this is why you got those stars. So until a government document that I can verify say that this is why these stars are here, I'm not listening to websites. I'm not listening to anybody's opinion. All I know is I've done people with terrible criminal history, big ones, and they got 5 stars. And I got people with 3 stars with no history with 5. And then I got people with 5 star that has no criminal history, no problems with the law ever. And they got 5 stars. Then I have children with 5 stars. Then I have parents, the same parents of these same children with 3 stars. So it's no rhyme or reason. I can't tell you with definity what they mean. All I know is I've seen different variations of it. And I got 3 stars. And I can tell you with definity that I give my passport, no driver's license, no registration. I keep on moving. They ain't taking me. You know, in normal circumstances, you don't have a driver's license in some state, they arrest you or make you get out the car. That has not happened to me. I didn't give up a registration nor a driver's license. And they said, have a nice day. Okay. All right. Someone said, should we register our vehicle a certain way, or does using the passport take care of that? You register your vehicle the normal way. I don't have any remedy for not registering the vehicle. I don't recommend not registering the vehicle because you got to remember law enforcement officers on the low end of the totem pole, when they see no registration, they drool at the mouth. They coming after you. They don't know what you know about how registrations work. So I keep registrations on my vehicle. I got pulled over and he pulled the registration of the vehicle. I didn't give him my registration card, and I didn't give him the contract, which they call a driver's license, and gave him the passport card, and I was on my way. You know, I wasn't supposed to be on my way. They were supposed to not let me drive. I didn't prove that I had credentials, but they didn't do that. There's a lot more to the story. I don't want to get into all the details because, you know, I don't want to give up too much because I'm working on that right there. But let's go to the next one. Nationality freedom is attached to paper. That's a comment. Any other question? You can also watch You can also watch the miniseries Trust in Amazon Prime. Miniseries Trust on. Oh, I'm gonna check it out. Thanks. I'm gonna check that out. Long arm jury. Upon proof of claim, bring forth the man or woman bringing the claim against me. That is a true statement. Just got in. What are the stars referenced to? Someone said, what are the stars referenced to? I just answered that. All right, let's look at the call line. There's no callers on the line. It's 8:34. All right, people. I will leave you with this last but not least statement. Last before I do that, let me put my little video up. That's you will never get any further than the ideas in your mind. Reverend Ike, that's where I heard it from. And that is true. You won't. The ideas that you have in your mind dictate what your physical results will be. So if you're thinking abundance, you're going to have abundance. That is guaranteed. If you're thinking lack, you will have lack. That is guaranteed. So I encourage you to stay positive, stay thinking about abundance, stay thinking about your well-being, being peaceful. Don't follow up all of this other stuff. I don't want to use certain words because they like to take videos down because you're using certain words. Think abundance all the time. Think good all the time. You're not crazy if you want to think good things. You don't want to follow the insanity of the world who want to be in fear of dying. You do know that the physical body will expire one day, sooner or later. So I'm not going to spend my time worrying about when. I'm going to spend my time enjoying my time here and making it the best that it can be. Although sometimes I get caught up in my mind and I start creating chaos. I did that this morning. You know, Beth called me, you know, in peace. She was trying to set up a comedy show for us to go to. And I jumped into a negative statement and it changed the whole mood. You know, but I corrected that. I repented of my ways. But there you have it. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to all. And have a good night.